take, 𝒂𝒏𝒔𝒄𝒂𝒑𝒆���� or whatever, and you take a shitload of pain pills, the number one thing they do is they constipate you.
What is the maximum amount you think you can do before it's not considered lacing anymore?
Do you mean of putting laxatives in a like
Anything,
at whatever
anything.
point it becomes an overdose? At whatever point it becomes poisoning someone? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
What's the maximum amount of laxatives you can put in something
when it's not considered? Because like every time like
can you overdose on laxatives?
Hold on. That's not the question.
Okay.
The question is, because it doesn't matter the substance. The question is at what point? Because like when the cop gets there and they're like figuring out, they're like, oh, they laced the coffee.
Yeah.
At what point does he look at the coffee and go, oh, something else the coffee?
At some point, the same exact point that you're talking about is the point to where instead of adding laxatives to coffee, you're adding coffee to laxatives. Like that's the defining line where he's like, some reason he gave him laxatives, but he added coffee to it.
This cup is full of laxative powder.
Anyways, welcome to the AnythingCast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Will.
And Eric's taking a shit. He'll be back here in a bit. In the meantime, me and Will are going to talk about our favorite topic. Will, Israel or Palestine? Well, whose side are you on?
We did this last time.
All right. Israel or Syria?
Oh.
Easier.
Syria.
Okay, there you
You
go.
shouldn't just shoot Syria.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they deserve it. Maybe they're over there shaking their fist.
That is what the propaganda tells me.
Making a mean face. They're over there standing on the border, Will.
I find it so funny going back to the CEO shooter.
Yeah.
Actually, now I've just thought of something else.
Good. We can talk about whatever. This is the Anything Cast.
Yeah.
We can talk about whatever we want. CEO shooters be damned.
Have you been watching like mainstream media talk about it at all?
I have somewhat.
Have you noticed how it's really funny, honestly, how very much they're like, oh, this is so scary. This is like the most frightening thing.
Of course, yeah.
And it's like, bruh, he's not targeting poor people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel more safe with him roaming around.
Of course. It's... Okay, here, let me pitch you an idea. All right. The guy kills again.
Yeah.
It's another CEO. It's another, insurance CEO.
Yeah, don't tease me. I'll get hard.
Same dude, same clothes, subsonic ammunition, same exact bullet casings and everything. And you're like, oh, God, okay, so he's, doing this now.
You said...
He kills a third one.
You said another CEO, and that did a little something for me.
He kills a third one. This time he's working his way up the board of trustees. This time he goes 𝒂𝒏𝒔𝒄𝒂𝒑𝒆���� on those motherfuckers and bombs a building, a room, and just kills the board meeting. At what point does he become Batman?
At what point is he Batman?
At what point does he become
Definitely at that point. Definitely when he's the Punisher at that point.
I guess, yeah, no, for real. He is. Oh my God, he is.
Yeah.
He's doing real Punisher shit in real life.
He is. This is Punisher shit.
Oh my God. No wonder people like him. The Punisher rules.
Yeah, dude.
This is such an awesome... Oh, dude, if he can go from doing that to immediately killing Nazis and stuff...
he'd be in.
If this dude's life just takes that trajectory...
He would just be elected president.
Yeah, of course, dude. If he came out and was like, yeah, I'm the guy who shot these CEOs, I bombed all those Nazis, and I killed the board of that health insurance company that was rejecting 90% of claims, people would elect him something.
Mm-hmm.
He would be possibly the most famous... He'd be above, Ted Bundy. He'd be above anyone we've ever had in America who was a killer that was famous.
Yeah. I mean, how do you quantify it though? Because the CEO, that guy, Brian Thompson, is 100% responsible for some deaths.
Yeah. I mean, he is. He's 100% responsible for some deaths because he had the option to say no, and he didn't.
Yeah.
It's the Nazi argument.
So
he ran the camp.
Yeah. So
he's not Hitler, but he ran the camp.
You can absolutely tie hundreds, if not thousands, of deaths directly to Brian Thompson. Yeah. At what point, you said, this killer is it could be possibly bigger than Ted Bundy if he killed another CEO. Let's say he kills 3 CEOs, right?
Kills one from BP.
Yeah.
He kills one from...
they could be the most awful CEOs imaginable. At what point are we saying this guy is the worst, or effectively the best serial killer, and not the fucking CEOs who are responsible for all these goddamn deaths?
Yeah, they're the best serial killers.
Yeah.
In reality, they are the best.
Because they get away with it and they get paid for it.
Yeah, of course. At some point, he becomes and he would be what is the superhero movie where like the character just becomes an image more than like?
Oh, that's pretty much happened.
Yeah, that's most of.
I mean, he's a myth at this point.
Did you see the picture where somebody drew over the Spider-Man? Careful, he's a hero.
Yeah,
but the people carrying the CEO killer.
I
above
saw
them?
a really good edit.
Oh my god,
of that metro scene where he has that face of the smiling guy in the back, and it's Doc Ock, and Doc Ock has police written on him, and it's that scene where he's like, to get to him, you have to go through me. And me. Yeah, and me too.
Yes, I'm Spartacus. There were a lot of people saying, like, if they catch the guy, the people are just going to be like, no, it was me, actually. I killed him. You know, like, a bunch of people will stand up and, like, take the rap for it just to make it confusing.
They would not be able to do a jury trial.
Well,
at least not without packing the jury.
The weird part is that juries have the ability to acquit someone completely. Like, even if somebody breaks the law,
they would have to pack that jury.
Yeah, I know. There's no way, because as long as the jury is well aware, which they never tell them, I preface this with they never tell the jury that this is a possibility, because courts don't really like it when you do this. But a jury can say, yes, you did break the law, but we're also not going to find you guilty.
Yeah.
That is a thing that juries can do. Juries are brainwashed into the idea that if somebody is guilty of something,
you give it to the judge.
Then you give it to the judge, and then they say you're guilty, and then the judge makes a sentence. But they can come out of that shit and then be like, no, actually, you're not going to jail. We think what you did was right.
I've heard of that before.
That's a real thing. And if he goes to court...
Acquittal by jury.
Yeah, acquittal by jury. If he goes to court with a jury... there's a real possibility that happens.
Yeah.
There's a real possibility.
Yeah, like the state would have to pack the court with like people who just
CEOs?
With the rich people.
Oh my god, yeah, and then somebody could bomb the building with him in it. And he'd go out a martyr.
A martyr. Oh my god, dude.
Why are we this is not something that we should be like fantasizing about, but it really does say something about the America that we live in. To where we're kind of like fantasizing about this idea of this man becoming a symbol.
And it all could be yours too. Just go to Marxist.org.
Yeah, right.
Read about it today.
Hell, it doesn't matter what it ends up being. Like it could be whatever you want. It's as long as like you get rid of like corruption. I don't know.
And where does corruption stem from? Money, the rich, capital, commerce.
Oh my god. Yeah, this guy's going to be like a Marxist wet dream.
He is, dude.
Yeah, he really is.
And I don't even think he has anything to do with the left is the hilarious part. No, this dude is...
he's probably just somebody whose loved one got denied coverage.
Like, this is probably just the highest of crimes of revenge, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is
the Occam's razor part of it is likely... This guy had a family member who died of whatever. They got their claims denied.
I mean, he's just the Punisher.
Yeah, and then he read the book, deny, defend, deflect, and then he went, okay.
Yeah. If he, do you think that they're gonna get a guy? Do you think that they're gonna like do the Boston bombing thing where they get a bunch of? Yeah, they're gonna get a scapegoat because they can't find him.
Yes,
I think they will too.
Because they already tried with the one guy.
I know. Dude, that's like up there with like possibly ruining someone's life.
Imagine being that guy right now.
Oh yeah, dude, I wouldn't go outside. I wouldn't go outside for months. I would just call my friends and be like, bring me groceries. They put my face on the internet and the fucking NYPD is looking for me for something I didn't do.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, they're going to get a guy and then they're going to be like, well, did you agree with what the person did? He's going to be like, of course I did.
Did you see that following this? And I don't think this necessarily has anything to do with this event. I think this was just going to happen because the left wing of America has been on the rise, even though it is slow.
Yeah.
Congress is passing a law that is going to require schools to teach children the evils of communism.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's good.
It's propaganda.
Well, I mean, as long as they do the capitalism as well.
They won't.
Yeah, they probably won't. As long as they do it both ways, I'd be fine with that, but they probably won't.
The House passed a bill. Senate hasn't passed it yet, but I'm sure it will.
The evils of communism. What do you think they're going to go for? Bread lines?
Whatever is in the Black Book of Communism, basically. Yeah, it's going to be like bread lines, 50 million people killed when...
Iron workers. Everybody works in a factory.
That number's fake.
Yeah.
Everyone works in a factory, even though everyone in America works in a factory now.
Oh, yeah, dude. Or they're a trucker.
The gulags, even though Soviet Union had less people in prison than America, even like especially by today's standard.
Dude, by today's standard, does America have the most people in prison?
Yes, we have 25% of the world's prison population.
I'm not even surprised. America's prison fucking industrial complex is insane.
They're going to say stuff like, the bread lines, even though, hey, look, you have to remember two things. One, the Soviets went from a feudal economy to an industrial economy all within the span of 20 years, basically.
Yeah.
And then two, they might have had bread lines, but they didn't have Oh yeah. Also, they just went through 2 goddamn world wars, both of which hit their fucking most agriculture fields.
And a civil war.
Yeah, and a civil war.
Immediately thereafter.
All their infrastructure was bombed and their fields were fucking flamed.
Yeah.
They had fucking bread lines. And they're gonna be like, oh, they're so homeless people. They're homeless people in America. And also, America didn't have a fucking war that touched it twice and a civil war.
Were the Bolsheviks army guys from those wars? Some of them, I figured. Because, when you do a coup, generally the idea is that you want to have the military on your side. And if you can't have the military on your side, you want to have people who were in the military on your side.
Yeah, no, inevitably you need someone who has the mindset of
You need the iron
military.
fist. Yeah, you got to have the iron fist to keep the stability after the coup goes through. And then, so I was reading about the Bolsheviks, and I was like, how did they keep that stability? Because that's the big scary about anything like that. Any revolution, the big scary is the military gets to do the coup and then they keep stability.
They broke eggs.
Dude, yeah, and by eggs you mean the heads of everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that is how that works.
Yeah. That is the dark side of it.
Yeah. That if they were talking about that, if that was the evils of communism, and then what they mean by that is communism requires a coup, and then a coup is always bloody, I wouldn't mind if they taught that. That's real. But
that's not what they're going to teach.
No,
and I'm Eric.
And Eric's here. Thank you, Eric.
We were discussing how the House has passed a bill following the shooting and some other stuff.
The CEO shooting?
Yeah, and the union strikes and all that have been successful. That they're going to start teaching in schools the evils of communism.
Which that they're not going to touch on the evils of capitalism once. That's the unfair part to me.
So we're not going to talk about all the shit the CIA does with our approval or any of that.
Can you imagine
humbling democratically elected
against
leaders?
Us, and we're not going to do propaganda against us.
Dude, can you imagine if the high schoolers were taught what the CIA did between the 80s and the 2000s?
Yeah, I think the real silver lining though about this is it just proves that they're scared and that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We are on the rise.
Yeah,
I don't know that socialism is on the rise per se, but
it definitely is, dude. Socialism was non-existent when we were in middle school. It's on the rise. It's just wildly slow.
It's more that capitalism is having its Berlin Wall moment.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We've kind of tapped it out.
We're having that Rome is burning moment where we've got to figure something out.
We've gotten as much as we can out of it for the most part. And at this point, all the people who are really, really winning capitalism, we're just hey, those don't look like saviors and heroes.
No, of course not. What we need is another big war. I'm not even joking. That is what they're going to do. That's the only option that they have.
It is what signs have been pointing to.
Yeah, that's the only option that capitalism has. If the United States is going to survive, we have to go to war to just get rid of a bunch of people, of our own people. We need to cull a large mass of the United States.
That is,
and we need to have most of them building weapons.
That is some of the theories as to why Russia went to war with Ukraine, or part of why Russia went to war with Ukraine.
They're trying to jumpstart their dead economy.
Yeah.
One to do that. Two, a lot of people think it's an ethnic cleansing because if you look into who Russia is sending to the war, it's not like Moscowians or
Moscovians.
Yeah, Moscovians or ethnic white Russians. Basically, it's all the Russians in the east, and it's the minority Russians basically.
Okay, I do understand what you're saying with that, and without even looking it up, I believe that that's 99.9% true for sure. But I think you might be misconstruing the purpose of that tactic, because that tactic's not new. It might also do the thing that you're suggesting it would do, But there's actually a simpler reason why you would do that. Ukrainians, I believe, are going to be leaning on the European White Russian side of Eastern Europeans, right? They're going to be more like white people, more like Muscovian Russians, yes?
Sure.
Okay. So these are Slavic people and the like, the kind of people that live in
like a lot of
West
Ukrainians
Russia.
have family in Russia.
So what
and
you're
stuff
saying
like
is
that.
they don't want them fighting themselves and looking across
It's
and then being
easier
like,
to shoot someone who doesn't look like you.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you choose which people are going to fight on the European front of your country, and your country has a Asian and European front, you send the people who don't look like them.
Did you see
Because
that North Korea's?
They were doing that back in
North Korea
fucking.
sent some soldiers.
Did you see what they said about them yesterday?
They don't like them.
Well, of
I
course
hear
they
there's a
don't.
lot of contention between the Russians and the North Koreans.
Yeah,
and
they're not getting along very well, and
the
the
Chinese.
Russians have not used them in a military operation yet, like a large scale military operation, because they're so
I thought they
badly
were,
trained
thought
that
the
they
North
can't
Koreans-
get them to do anything.
I thought the North Koreans were operating, trying to take a city right now.
No, as far as I know, yesterday they were talking about how the North Korean soldiers were such low quality, like stock, that it was basically just the communism, like lower class getting thrown into a meat grinder level of human being who have only ever picked up a gun once.
Did you think that Kim Jong-un was going to send his best?
Yeah, it's true.
What are his best?
What are his best?
They do have the best, and their best would be considered their elite assassins.
I guess.
Yeah, that's
No.
probably what they're-
Look into North
sure that's
Korea.
what they're
that's
good
what
at.
our best do is elite
Yeah, the
assassins.
CIA,
like,
the Green
effect-
Berets.
like effectively,
Navy SEALs, Green
yeah. I mean
Beret.
that is effectively what North Korea's military best is small team.
That's just what high-end military does these days. You
Well,
don't
yeah.
line up massive numbers of
And that's what I'm
highly
saying
trained
is,
men.
what do you think
put
Kim
in
Jong Un
strike
is going to
groups.
send his best guys to
When you
fucking
said-
Ukraine?
When you
No.
said earlier that
I
Russia
mean,
was
if he
sending
did,
like
he
their
wouldn't tell anyone.
oh yeah, of course.
That-
In all fairness,
Yeah, that too.
When you said earlier that Russia was sending like their worst, basically like their youngest, and
I wouldn't say
started,
worse. It's the minority ethnic groups.
yeah, and I started thinking of like minority ethnic groups in Russia, and then I was like, I don't know that many, but I know minority groups that could be sent out, and then I imagined them sending out like all their Down syndrome people. And then, like,
Yeah.
they've got a whole battalion
The,
of, like, actually mentally
the
handicapped
Also,
people.
Dudley's,
like, just
brightest or whatever they were
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
the
They're just
east end of
We're gonna
Russia
take Ukraine.
is like shit that's like north of Mongolia and what. These are steppe Asian people, not Slavic Europeans.
yeah.
They.
So they're retarded by default.
I mean, okay, if you want to go that direction. but
Hey, I
just
know
gonna
a
say
thing or
they're-
two about them, dude. They're the guys who
Hey,
can turn
whoa,
around.
hey, can I talk to you over here for a second?
they
Yeah, sure,
conquer
yeah,
the whole
what's
world
going on?
without building any
Yeah,
infrastructure.
I'm gonna close the door.
Yeah.
Excuse
Oh,
us
I'll
one
step
second.
out, I guess.
What?
Hey, we've been talking. HR has decided that we're going to try to move away from the racism.
Oh.
The podcast is going in a new direction. They think for a more wider options, we should. I mean, it's not every now and again.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
want to
yeah.
do it for old time's sake. It's a treat.
Yeah.
But like it's the bigot jokes. It's a lot, and HR thinks that
Are they
like,
taking?
well, they don't think it's good for audience retention.
Okay. What about the Bambi picture? Can I?
They
can
said
I
you
still-
can keep that,
Okay.
but it's on thin ice.
I got demoted. Like, or
Hey guys, are you done?
One second,
one second, Eric. 1 second. They already demoted me, and I'm making like half what I was making earlier.
I don't think making any
can't.
jokes are gonna. I don't think.
I've got
not
to
reading
bring.
your memos are gonna
I've got to
help.
bring something.
Guys, are you ready for
Eric, shut up!
I got the cross soaked.
Shut up, Eric!
soaked in kerosene. What am I supposed to do with it?
Just wait for a second. God damn it! You have no patience.
Okay, I'm gonna set it up though.
Okay, thank you. I love you. Yeah, but they've already cut my salary. I know what the people like. I can just, if I just keep doing the racist bit, then people laugh, and then it'll be fine. I promise. Just don't tell anybody. We'll put this episode out and just don't tell anybody, and then I swear it'll do numbers. It'll do great numbers. I promise.
Okay, I'm just warning you. HR is watching, and I don't like their one red glowing eye that watches. But I'm just letting you know that eye's on you.
Okay. Do you have that subsonic ammo that I asked you for, by the way?
in the vents.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I've got another way to take care of this. Anyways, let's go back in there. Okay. All right. Eric, hey, you ready, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey,
y'all ready? I've had this thing set up. Jeez.
Yeah, no, light her up. We were just,
it's cold.
Y'all got the robes?
Well, so that was kind of what we were talking about. HR doesn't want us to do the robes anymore. We can still burn the cross. Yeah, we can't do the robes anymore.
No robes.
Sorry.
I feel like we're gonna look like a bunch of
not
idiots
in the
out
budget.
there in blue jeans and slacks.
It's not in the budget.
It's not. Yeah, they're really pulling the collar tight.
Do we need to like return them or something? Because I've got them.
Wait, did you rent them? I thought you owned those. I thought those were yours.
I mean, if it's not in the budget, I guess we need to recover the money for it, though, right?
Do you know anybody who would buy them?
Well, I know some guys in Tremont that could be interested in having a few spares.
Okay. Well, you know, after the show, we'll drive down there and we'll just we'll do like a yard sale or something. You know, as a matter of fact, just don't even light the cross. I'll clean the kerosene off and everything, and we'll just
keep the kerosene on. Maybe that can be an added thing.
Oh yeah, already, pre-kerosene.
Well, we're gonna have to wrap it up in plastic or something because that'll like.
We'll just strap it to the top of my car. It'll be fine.
Dissolve in air with the kerosene. You know, it's not gonna stay flammable that long.
Kerosene dissolve in air.
Does kerosene dissolve in air?
Why do you think you don't keep gasoline, lighter fluid, or anything like that in open air containers?
See, this is why we should have gone to high school. He's way more like educated.
I didn't know that for real. I didn't know
You need an educated person to be the lighter of the cross.
Yeah, that is why you're the grand wizard of the group.
You know, there's some chemistry involved in making sure that it actually stays on fire in a cross shape and doesn't just crumble immediately. It's not like I made this fucker out of paper mache. This took time.
Yeah, you're good at that and the meth. You're great at meth.
Well, that's how I have the time.
Yeah, I know. You got a lot of you got like science
Sleep is for the weak.
Yeah. Science is. You're science. You did great.
I consider myself a scientist.
Yeah, me too. Really.
I like your skull studies.
Thank you.
I like all the books with the pictures.
Mm-hmm. I got down to a real, science.
I like the tools. I like the little thing you put around them. You say like they've got the 3 little dimples here.
I like when you measure my head and you shake your head and you go,
Yeah, and you talk about subservience. You talk about the 3 dimples in the back that represent subservience, and
that's how I know what percentage Native American will is.
Oh, okay.
You can actually measure it. Pretty simple. It's almost as easy as a tape measure.
Really? You got to teach me how to do that. I think that I'd love to know how to do that. That'd be a lot of fun. I
can measure the 20 years later intelligence of a baby.
Switching topics just slightly. Did you see that the South Korean president his impeachment vote failed?
It did?
Yeah. Really? Yeah. So it turns out that the conservatives in South Korea like to fuck around about as much as our conservatives.
Yeah, they were worried that if he got removed, then they would get a liberal president next because their last liberal president was a very big deal.
She, from what, and I granted, I don't know if she was the liberal president. I'm only guessing.
I think it was her.
And it's funny because Yoon, I think, is the current president. He was the prosecutor for her case.
Was he?
Yeah. She was arrested for taking bribes from Samsung, which is actually part of the reason I always said Samsung fucking runs that country.
Yes, it does.
It's part of it was she would take bribes and would do whatever Samsung wanted her to do.
I mean, in spite of everything with the recent political crisis in South Korea, I kind of heard for a while that South Korea was kind of like a capitalist hellscape.
Oh, it's a cyberpunk dystopia for real.
Yeah, it's up there.
Like, as much as everyone really loved that funny song with the tubby Asian guy, Psy, no one knew that Oppan Gangnam Style was a harsh critique of bougie, overcap. That's what Gangnam Style is. That's why he's acting like an idiot. It's rich, ignorant fucks.
I thought it was just a silly song.
No, it's a scathing critique of South Korean bougie capitalist lifestyle.
Hilarious.
Like all the plastic surgery and all that kind of stuff. That's what Oppan Gangnam Style is.
Another thing that's apparently, I don't know if they're still doing this, but when the president did do his military thing, his martial law, the biggest union in South Korea immediately declared a strike.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't know if they're still striking, but they said that they would until he, I think, either ended the martial law or was removed, basically.
Any country that starts K-pop idol culture is a capitalist hellscape. It's like a cyberpunk capitalist hellscape.
Fucking, just the fact that, another thing like that you can tell like it's a hellscape is the conscription is
forced. It's
it's unfair because if you look into it, I've seen several people say that while of course every average person,
it's mandatory, but rich people get out of it constantly.
Yes.
Oh, is that what it is? So they got the Donald Trump exception.
And if you're the son or daughter of a fucking CEO or something like that, you're definitely not going to have to do your conscripted.
Jesus. Do you see the guy that got sentenced to the January 6th guy today got sentenced, and he said immediately that he wasn't worried about it because he's sure Donald Trump's going to pardon him.
God, I cannot wait for Donald Trump not to do that.
If he does,
he doesn't give a shit about any of those people.
That dude is
cannot wait to laugh.
He's so sure of it though. He's so sure of it. It's going to be the tastiest.
Only reason Donald Trump would do it is if he somehow realizes, oh, that would be good for media.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If
it'll be good for money.
He just has to keep that in his back pocket, basically, because he has plenty of good media right now.
Well, before we creep all the way back in North America, I would like to say one thing that is taking place in South Korea that ironically has led to people from across both sides of the political spectrum coming together and all finally agreeing on the solution to a problem and that something is a problem. And because of that, I think we can all be very happy that neither of the three of us are Johnny Somali, who's currently in South Korea.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, any bit of sympathy he would have had, like South Korea was already done with him. Now they've got more important shit to deal with, so now they're going to be like, yeah, throw him in a box and never open it again.
They're going to Django his ass. They're going to put him in the hot box out there in front of the plantation and leave him in there for 7 days.
Do you think that I've slightly heard that he might have gotten beaten up in prison? Is that true?
He got beat up out of prison.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He went to prison beat up. He was already beat the shit out of.
I think I saw the channel Sensitive Society was interviewing the Navy SEAL dude who punched the shit out of him outside that hotel. It was a Navy SEAL guy? Well, the South Korean equivalent.
But it was like a special forces type
aquatic
guy.
Special forces thing.
So tell me the story because I don't know what happened.
Basically, as Somali was doing his live streaming thing, a lot of Korean YouTubers and live streamers got together and were just like, yeah, we're gonna figure out where he is via the stream and all work together to find out where he is. And then as soon as
IRL stream sniping,
yes, as soon as they've all confirmed his location, they share it with all of each other, and then they all log out simultaneously.
Oh.
Yes, and that way, no one knows who's going where or doing what. And at that point, the first one to show up was this UTD guy from the fucking South Korean Navy SEALs, who's been a YouTuber for the past 3 years or so.
The entire way there.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, he just ran up to him and
going
fucking
8 miles an hour all the way there.
He fucking just cold clocked dude right on the street as he was walking across the street.
Yeah.
He ended up getting arrested, but his bail was posted by 40 people simultaneously. And he's basically being carried around the country as a folk hero.
I was about to say, is he getting the treatment that
the CEO shooter?
Yeah, our recent hero's gotten.
Except he's out of jail and people know where he is, and he's still being treated very nicely right now.
Say what you will about a South Korean politician.
English-speaking audiences right now with translators because everyone wants to hear from him.
Say what you will about a South Korean politician, but man, sounds like South Korean people know what's up.
Well, they have a very big national
the boots on
pride.
the ground, the people in walking around the streets. Yeah.
Did you see the fucking the video of the South Korean female politician after the coup, after Parliament voted to say no to martial law?
Yeah.
She tried to push one of the army soldiers away, and she grabbed his rifle and put it to her head, and then pushed him away with the rifle a badass.
I heard about that.
She just grabbed the fucking rifle, put up fucking shoot me, faggot, do it.
Wasn't she screaming, aren't you embarrassed?
Yeah, something like that. She said leave, aren't you embarrassed? You shouldn't be here anymore. Something like that.
That's pretty based.
Yeah, he tried to he tried to shoo her away with the gun. She grabbed the gun and put it to her head and then just pushed him away from the barrel of the gun.
She said, nut up or shut up, you fuck up.
And he just he just walks away so dejected. He just walks away like a fucking cuck.
That was your moment.
Apparently a bunch of old people
you fucked it up, man.
Who lived through the first dictatorship A lot of them were out in the streets protesting and
Yeah,
fighting,
I heard
like,
about that.
Yeah, and like apparently a lot of like old women were like beating the soldiers and stuff. And like,
come to find out, after the split of Korea, it took like 15, 20 years for them to not be under martial law, and no one
liked it.
No one was happy about it then, and absolutely not a single fucking soul in the entire country, including Seoul, is okay with going back to it. They're just like, abso-fucking-lutely not.
No, to the credit of most of the military, I don't think they were into it at all.
No,
I
obviously.
don't think so. No.
No, it would have been very different if the military was whole ham.
Yeah,
for
if they
this.
were into it, there would have
not.
been a very different situation. Parliament never would have met.
That video you were just explaining to me would have had a much more 1960s college campus feel to it.
1984, I think, is what you're talking about.
No, I think it was 1960s where they shot all those students on the college campus in
actually,
the United States.
as far as I remember, no, that actually didn't happen. I think that was that's a Tiananmen Square kind of situation. It's a widely held belief that they shot all of
It's
those
a good
students.
thing only communists have ever shot protesters.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
That's what I'm saying. I
That's
think
a
that
them problem, not an us problem.
I've seen the
Classic
updated history
Western
books that they've got.
propaganda.
I've got I've seen the updated history books, and ever since they've said, that whole deal was just, just
Well, it's like I saw a
didn't
thing
happen. That was made up.
It's like I saw a thing the other day. This is the best way to lie, is to use the truth to lie.
Yeah.
And it was talking about like,
That is the best way to lie.
Muslim hillbilly mountain people in like the Taliban or whatever that like constantly molest children.
Yes.
And it was just like, look, the Muslims molest the children and the entire community doesn't want to do anything about it. These people are clearly evil. And I couldn't help it. I had to leave a comment.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, thank God Christianity does not have this problem.
Yeah.
Fucking
That is a
You run into that
purely
everywhere,
brown
too.
people problem.
You run into that everywhere.
Yeah.
Like every time you see, this one got me.
Yeah, like
I'm not gonna lie,
isolated
this one got me really
degenerates
bad.
do crimes, I guess.
If you look at any film or anything from the Middle East, directly to what you're saying, it's all like mud huts and like these really shallow buildings and shit like that. But then you look up, like literally just like look up any capital of any Middle Eastern
like
country.
Damascus.
Yeah, look
And
up
it looks
Baghdad.
like Birmingham.
Yeah,
it just
look
looks like Birmingham.
Look up the capital of Syria, Damascus. Well, actually,
It
look
just
it
looks
up.
like New York.
Excuse me.
kinda like-
Look up pictures of it before today.
Yeah.
Look it up. A couple of months ago.
Like,
It
there's
looks great.
skyscrapers and shit.
Yeah, Dubai. I mean, it's just fucking beautiful.
So, like, you want to know the power of propaganda? Fucking, it made me for years believe no one else in the world built skyscrapers but the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah, that we just
Dude,
had mud huts out there.
It's
Yeah.
like it's like when I went to fucking Mexico or Jamaica or something like that. It's like if you just pick and choose what you're looking at, like the cities, they look fucking normal. You want to know what the countryside looks like? It looks just as fucked up as ours.
Yeah,
Like all the poor people look the same.
Like, I was arguing with someone the other day who was like, Cuba is a shithole that's so poor. And then I like literally looked up Cuban houses for sale and they look fine. They're fine. And then he was like, they all live in shacks. I was like, bitch, I live in a shack.
Yeah. It's just
For real.
like
Mississippians,
supposed
if
to
anybody.
Yeah.
Mississippians are the ones that, like, in America, if you're like,
I
who
lived
is
in-
the poorest
Like,
people
Cuba
that live
has
in
an
shacks?
excuse. It's being embargoed by the richest goddamn country on earth.
Same with
I'm
Mississippi.
almost 36, and every third world country I've been here since I was 2 in Mississippi. Every third world country I've been to looks fucking the same.
Yeah.
They just have different colored flags.
I've been to 48 of the 50 United States, and every single one of them looked better than Mississippi, but all of them looked somewhat like Mississippi if you went to the poor area.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's just
it's,
this isn't a
it's
South
not a
thing.
state, a
It's not
country,
state
it's a
thing.
class thing.
Yeah,
It's poor
this is
people
just
live
what
in
poor
shacks.
people look
Turns
like.
out.
Turns out it's people without money.
Come to
live in
find out,
shacks.
if you exclusively visit the places where it's a multi-adult median household income of like 40K, it looks the fucking same.
Yeah.
If you do the
Turns out humans are
equivalency of
pretty
that.
monolithic, honestly.
Yeah, really, we're not that different as much as propaganda would have us believe, but
Yeah,
we really are very similar no matter what culture you come from in
Well,
the end of
Like,
the day.
there's
My
like
wife loves to
thematic
argue.
differences.
Like my wife loves to argue with me.
Tell
when
me
I
about
say,
it. Every wife loves to argue. Am I right, boys?
If I couldn't live in the United States, and let's say I couldn't live in North America,
Yeah.
okay, at all. So the two ones I'm more familiar with, Mexico and Canada, are off the fucking books now.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So
Can't go to a place they speak English as the main language. Can you go
where
to
do I
England?
move? Let's say I can go anywhere regardless of the language spoken there. It's just like Well, I'd want to go somewhere like, stable, big, relatively safe, where I can live a relatively normal lifestyle. Just like, well, Russia and China are fine.
Yeah,
like
you go to London. Like, I mean, they at least speak English. That's
I mean, they're like communists over there, but like whatever.
Yeah,
like, it's fine.
There's communists here. There's a communist right there, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Aren't you scared?
The communists are in fact in this room with you.
Aren't you scared? He's so scary.
I don't recognize him without the horns from all the pictures. But,
It's okay. They only grow out when you own capital.
Yeah, that's right.
No one here owns capital, as far as I'm aware.
And when
that's fair.
Though there is one landlord.
That explains
and
why all the people who run communist countries
it
have
grows
horns.
when he tells lies.
Yeah, there is one landlord here, but I haven't read any Mao yet, so he's safe for now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've never once raised rent.
Yeah, that's true too. He's a fair,
I've
damn
never
good
once
landlord.
raised rent. I'm
In
not
all
fucking
fairness,
doing that shit. That's the most evil shit in the world.
I might be like kind of the poorest individual amongst the three of us, but ironically, individual.
As
if you're not including
as yearly made, yeah, you're probably right.
if you're not including our support networks, I'd be the poorest individual here. But I have some bad news for you, Will.
Go ahead.
I'm a landlord too.
Damn, I really got to get around to reading some Mao.
Yeah, you really got to get around to it, dude.
Someone
have you
recommend
ever
me-
raised rent?
Me and my wife technically own my mother-in-law's previous house, and that's where my younger brother lives, and we actually do collect rent.
Have you ever raised his rent?
No.
See?
Okay,
It's
well,
like,
there you go.
okay.
In fact, we gave him a fucking
Part of
ridiculously
that-
nice deal. It's like $425 for his own house and once a month.
Jesus Christ, that's good.
Part of
Yeah,
that is,
like he's-
though, I feel like because because we live in a capitalistic society, and the reason I think it's more okay for you two specifically, one, because you're not raising rent, you're not how you're being an asshole about it, but
Honestly, we just didn't want the little fucking house to go to waste because it seemed like a
she
died suddenly.
What it
and
is,
we were all
although
bummed.
you are landlords by definition of what we are as a society, I think what it is in reality is this is family coming together to help each other, or
It's tribalism.
yeah,
It's tribalism.
It's tribalism.
Yeah.
Everybody on my driveway, there's 4 domiciles on my driveway.
I bought a house that just happened to have 2 houses.
yeah.
It
was only
just 2 houses glued together, basically.
Yeah, basically.
I
So
mean, it
I
doesn't
had
look
to have
shitty,
somebody
but-
live down there.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want it to fucking waste away.
And what are you going to do with a whole separate living space with all the same shit you have up
The
here?
only thing I could think was like, oh, it'll be great when my dad or my mother dies.
Yeah,
So
you
that
have
my
a guest house, basically.
Yeah, so that my parents can, like, whichever one of them needs to live with us, they can live down there and have a little bit of independence.
Right. That way you
Or-
can take care of them without having to put up with them constantly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or it works if I have a child and they're like a teenager.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and they're
there
like,
you go.
And they need to go to college and they're like, I don't want to pay for a dormitory. I can be like, you can just live in the basement, dude. Just chill out.
Mm-hmm.
And, don't fucking set the house on fire.
Yeah.
I wouldn't charge my own child rent or anything.
Yeah, of course.
Like, we're
My
currently
parents
using-
did, which I don't. Did your parents do that? Did
No.
your parents charge you rent?
No, my parents just kicked me out.
I mean,
Do they?
mine
Okay,
is
well,
right
that's fair.
now,
Mine too.
but it's more of a situation of they're also having to pay for 2 houses now.
Oh yeah, and land tax.
Oh, my mom's just
they've got to
bitch.
pay for land tax.
So this is I look at it more as like this isn't rent. This is me helping my family.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, they have to pay the land tax if they have a house on the land, anyways.
Yeah.
and it's not their homestead, so the tax is going to be higher. So
the way I
have
look
to
at
pay
it,
something.
it's more fucked if I'm not paying the rent.
How much is the land tax for the house that you own?
I have no idea.
Okay, it's probably
They've never discussed it.
it's
with
probably
me.
around $1,600 a year.
Yeah, I'm being
roughly.
honest. My wife takes care of that part. She uses her
Dude,
nurse money for that, and I take care of like practical day-to-day shit.
Yeah. Land tax is one of those things where
You got
like
that traditional shit of the wife is the finances, which I found out, by the way, that's not traditional at all. That's made up, actually. Women, for the most part, were not, in the past, were not put in finances.
not in America. That
I
was
just-
a big thing in
and-
Japan for a long time.
I just
though.
have a better tolerance.
But it's also because they
for-
weren't really taught for in the past a lot, at least as much as men.
Well, yeah, they weren't
because
allowed
of
to go to
sexism.
school. To a
Yeah.
So
certain
like it was like
extent, but-
it just doesn't make sense to put them in charge of finances.
no, because they don't know how money works. But,
Yeah.
But
that's
then,
still the case. I mean, that women. Let's
It's
be
almost
honest.
like they have hundreds of years of being fucking put behind the bar.
And my wife would put them right back in there.
It's so true.
Hell, she-
It's so true.
She loves it. Hell, she loves the bar, dude.
I know.
As
The
I said
cave with the
before-
shadows up on the wall. That's our favorite shit, dude.
Yeah.
All I got to do is stand behind her with a torch and make a little shadows dance on the wall.
If
That's
you
our favorite. Dude.
consent to living a specific lifestyle and weren't forced into it, I don't care.
I have to admit,
I'll go on the record and
thought,
say that's my goal in life. I'd love to just sit at home all day.
Yeah, I could
Of
be a
course.
house husband. Are you kidding me?
I never thought in my life that I would, because I married my wife and she was like a goth chick, and she was so poor and like her clothes were so bad. My father thought she was a prostitute. Not even joking. My dad had to sit down, and this is a weird. Have I told you about this? How that conversation went with my father?
No.
So I bring Kira back to my parents' house because she lives in a crack house. Like,
Sure.
her house sucks. It sucks. There's 7 dogs, 12 cats. Most of the houses, there's no flooring, no heating, and she just lives in this shitty little environment. So I was like, come stay with me, and you can just stay in my room with me, and we'll figure something out. We'll get an apartment together or something. But in the meantime, just stay in my room. So she comes in and she lives with me, and we're not having sex or anything because she doesn't want to have sex till she's married. And I'm like, I respect that, whatever.
Sure.
But we have to share a bed. I have one bed.
Sure.
And she's like, okay, fine, whatever. And my dad, on like the 4th day of this, because I don't talk to my parents about it at all. I just did it completely independently of asking them because I thought it was the right thing to do. Because I didn't want
it's
to.
not your house, but
I know, but I didn't want to hear them say no because I didn't want to have the conversation where I had to go and talk to her and be like, "You've got to go back to the crack house,"
Yeah.
I didn't want to
I feel
have
like
that
that's a little
conversation.
short-sighted of you.
It was.
But
So I brought her back, and on the 4th day, my dad is in the master bathroom taking a fat dump.
Sure.
And he calls me in there, and he's like, "Look, it's been 4 days." And he's just taking a shit while he's talking to me. I'm staring at him take a shit on the toilet. And I'm like, can we not have this conversation in a few minutes or something? But he's like, it's been 4 days. I haven't said anything because I respect you. Why did you bring a prostitute to the house? And I was like, Dad, she's not a prostitute. And he was like, I don't believe you. I was like, I don't care if you believe me. That's not that. I'm just trying to do the right thing here. And I swear to God, she's not a prostitute. But why did my father decide that the best course of action to have that conversation is while he's taking a fat dump? And while I've got to stand there smelling the shit coming out of his ass and the shit coming out of his mouth.
Was it a dominance move, maybe?
I have no...
Your dad seems like the type that might do dominance moves like that.
Yeah, that can't be a thing. There's no dominance of... Because you're at your most vulnerable when you're taking a shit.
Right. Well,
You're
it's
not-
kind of like making someone shave you with a straight razor. They could slit your throat at any time, but true power is having them have that power.
Yeah,
but
true
be
power
too
is
afraid
having
to use it.
True power is having your son stand outside of the bathroom and smell you taking a shit with the door
he's
open
making
while
you
scolding you.
smell the shit. Like he's saying, you're not important enough to wait till I'm done with this shit. It's
You know
a
how
power
that
play.
ended? You know how that ended?
I mean, clearly you got married, but
No, I mean, like, yeah.
You married the prostitute.
Yeah, I married the
You married
prostitute.
the prostitute,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
That ended with my mother and her got in a fight over toilet paper, which was the most petty shit because my mom was
I already
being
know what
petty.
happened. Your mom probably is one of those heathens who has the roll coming from the back instead of hanging
Yeah,
over
and
the front.
exactly. That's exactly what it
Yeah,
was.
that's a punch in the face for any sin. So, it's understandable.
Since my girlfriend was a sinner, we moved out and we went and lived in the crack house for a bit until we got an apartment.
Wow.
That was how that went.
Damn.
I wonder if my parents knew. If my parents knew then what they know now about where I went to live for a little bit, I wonder if they would have let us stay.
Probably.
I don't
Without
know.
knowing a lot of the bigger details, yeah, probably.
It's a fun idea though that my father loved to talk to me while he was taking a shit on the toilet.
My dad did lots of weird things.
My dad did a lot of weird things.
He's a weird fella.
He is. He's a weird guy.
I like him, but he's a
Mellowed
weird
out.
fella.
Mellowed out's the damn truth. My wife can't even imagine the type of person my father was because she's only ever known him since he's mellowed out.
I talked to him back when we were in that play together a lot, back when I was
Yeah.
considering joining the Marines.
He's one of those dudes, yeah.
Yep. He was very half and half on the idea. He was just like, it's a great
It's a life
career,
choice.
I guess.
It's sure is a life choice.
Yep. It's like there are caveats though I should probably mention.
He was openly at one point he openly admitted to being an authoritarian in regards to his house and that nothing in the house was democratic. And that he didn't care because his name was on the fucking, like, on the title, on the deed.
I mean, to a certain extent, I do understand that. I mean...
To a certain extent, but I really prefer to live my life in democratically with other people. Instead of, if I'm going to live in the house with people, I'd really rather not just make them mad at me all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, me and my wife are co-owners of our house, so it's kind of like a complete 50-50 situation there.
Yeah, you married into land ownership.
Yeah, the only thing that, like, one of us will do that the other one won't do is shit that we pre-agreed on already, like, because one of us is bad at it or something like that. Like, Nikki sucks at doing dishes, so I do dishes. She's not good at dealing with, like, a cluttered mess. Like, so if I walk into a room and there's just shit everywhere, I can take a mental pickaxe to it and just start grabbing things, and I can make the mess go away.
Make piles out of different objects that belong in different places.
And then slowly sort through each pile as I clear each surface, going from point to point to point. I can increment, like, a task like that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Whereas my wife...
She can suck dick.
Well, yeah, she can. But, but no,
you got
her
different
more
skill
important
sets. You know, you're not any good at sucking dick.
She can look at a wall. She can look at a wall of text and get through that the same way I get through physical clutter.
Oh,
so that's why she's the paperwork person and I'm the clutter person.
Let's say, what are you, Andrew Tate?
Yeah, of course I am.
So,
Have
like,
you not noticed my shaved head and my ripped biceps?
Watch out.
I've done like 7 cycles of steroids, dude.
Your
Check it
weird
out.
neck and head to chest ratio.
Stand up. I need to sniff your seat.
Don't do that right now. I've taken a lot of kratom. I'm pretty constipated.
It's like he's pushing out cement blocks. It's, you know,
it's not. It is like not even joking. I'm not even joking. Like, if you take a lot of kratom, it is like your shits are just like cement blocks.
Imagine it's just
I
that
like the
scene
note
from
your
Train
wife left for
Spotting.
you.
Do you like the note? That was.
And then you're like, I did it. That's my note.
It says, "Have a good day at work. Love you, Kira and kitties and Tolly. Tolly's our dog." But yeah. Actually, yeah, that's actually Eric's handwriting. That's not her at all.
In fact, he was saying it to Kira.
Do you know what that's in response to?
No.
That's in response to last Thursday's episode where I was just spiraling into depression.
And suicide.
And then did not recover. Like at all, like for like 4 days or something. And I was just having a bad time going to work, so she drew me a little thing. Eric's
the
now
tiger taking a shit.
Oh, nice, dude. Hell yeah. Tolly is a girl dog, but I guess not anymore. She got that surgery.
Draw a little shit.
She got a little. Draw some diarrhea spraying out of her ass. Hey. You know what that looks like. You worked in a kennel. Yeah, there we go. Wow, you're quite the artiste.
Yeah, there you go. Shit on the walls.
You want to take a picture of that and me just put it up on the screen right now? Just send me a picture. Why you just keep going?
Keeps going.
This is a visual bit,
It's
Eric.
never gonna end.
We have 10 more minutes
It's
to cover.
10 minutes
it's
of
a
him
visual.
drawing.
All you did was add a giant wang to the dog and then a pile of shit with stink lines coming
Just
off
like
of
to be
it.
clear that looks like a picture of a cat, not a dog.
Well, you know, my wife can. She doesn't have.
She's an artist.
But she's like, you know, she's got.
It's interpretive.
Yeah, it's
She's
interpretive.
better with the human figure than she is with animalistic figures.
I was going to say it
Not
has
true.
a lot to do with the Down syndrome.
I mean, I got a
she
big,
can
like-
draw.
I will
like,
say she's better at drawing cats.
She doesn't remember. She does that like thing where you pull the wheel and then the arrow spins around and it says the cow goes
Quack.
Caca.
Yeah, that's pretty much how she reacts. Yeah. Yeah, see? Yeah, you're right. Okay, you know exactly. You've seen it. You've seen her do it.
Yes.
Yeah, so when it comes to like drawing dogs or cats, she's like...
Well, if you look at the face of this so-called dog, it has like the cheeks
It has a
and whiskers
ball
of a
sack.
cat.
It has a ball sack for a face is what it has.
Yeah, like with a dog, you would want to draw more of a muzzle.
That's actually a realistic depiction of Will's penis on the face right there. That's his balls and then his
Yes.
dick.
The balls are significantly larger than the penis.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you
It
saw
even
it.
has the little eyes at the
We
top.
did the naked episode. You've seen Will's penis.
Yes.
It looks exactly like that.
He has
Yeah.
very impressive testicles.
You guys
it's
ever?
Not that he has a small penis. I just want to be clear about that. I'm not being mean here.
You know how shaving
he does not have a small penis. He has excessively large testicles.
Yeah. No. It's
His
just a
penis is
matter
very
of
normal
like
size. It's neither good
Yeah,
nor bad.
I feel like I'm at my
the balls are about
It's
as
entirely up to him on the penis thing. That's how you use it.
they're
kinda
like
deal.
tangerines.
But yeah, the balls, like, let me just say, it's like he's got like 500 Magnum loaded up into a.
The ratio is
9mm over
nuts.
here. It's ridiculous.
You should see the loads.
Oh,
You
I
should
can
see
only
the loads.
imagine.
Across
Like,
the room, dude. Through the wall.
What you're saying is
Viscous
I could
and
stand to do
flowing.
some steroids.
You could, yeah, you'd be fine.
Yeah, you'd be fine.
You'd be absolutely fine. As a matter of
You'd
fact,
be jacked
you should,
and have normal looking testicles.
I can give you some of my steroids that I'm using for. I'm done with my cycles. You can just take mine.
perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah. Speaking of balls, you guys like. You know how you have to just shave your balls, right? Like that's just like a normal thing that you have to do.
Has it happened?
I just buzz them a little bit every now and again with like the smallest.
That's what I was
going to
ask. That's like this. That's like the worst idea, right?
Did it
Because
happen? We're sponsored?
It's not the most
That's
even
right.
one.
this episode is sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped is a all shaving solution where you can shave your
Balls.
your stick and your berries all together.
You don't even
Twig
know-
and berries.
you don't even know that.
Yeah, that's right. I'm reading off the paper. That's what they told me to say.
Here it is. Wrinkle.
It won't fucking. It won't
Get that nasty, yeasty odor off of that crack between your dick and your ball sack where that.
We call that the grungula.
new Manscaped cheese remover. Where
The greater option.
For all of you who
Yeah.
like to keep the turtleneck on.
it's just one of those like acne poppers, but you just put it in the foreskin and then like spin it
you
around a
scoop
good
it around
bit.
a
Yeah.
little bit. It'll come out with a nice
The
little clump.
cheese scooper.
Cheese scraper.
And then you can take that cheese and grate it up against the grating maneuver.
You can
There
make
you go.
candles with it.
Yeah. I bet you could.
They smell bad.
Well, that's
don't
a
like-
new-
smell like
I
dick
don't
cheese.
like the
That's
implication.
the new Manscaped product, Eric. The dick cheese
cheese
candle.
candles.
It's not the candle yet. It's
Flavored
just
with your
a-
own dick cheese.
Yeah, it's not a candle yet, but it is a mold for one. They're very tiny.
I don't
it
like-
takes about 6 months to make one. They come with a wick. You just got to melt them together. Just run a lighter over it, and it'll melt it all
There
into
are
one
two
cohesive
implications
mass.
about an earlier statement that I just do not enjoy. One, you've either made dick cheese candles, or two, you've been somewhere where someone has in fact made dick cheese candles and used it.
Yeah,
And
because you know what they
gosh,
smell
I
like.
sure hate both implications because you know what
Well,
else that means.
Imagine dick cheese. Now
Because
imagine
smell
anything like have you ever
Is
burnt
60%
hair?
of your taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever smelled burnt hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, with Manscaped, you don't have to worry about that anymore. They have a brand new
it filters the hair out of the dick cheese.
Yes,
so that you
but it
the
actually
pure dick
does
cheese smell.
burn the hair away. They've got a new Manscaped lighter that you hold under your nuts,
Throw
and,
up.
and it burns the hair away.
can smell
but
the
there's
sour
also,
smell
But there's
coming
a
up.
vacuum attachment that will suck away all of the bad air. It goes through a filter and then back out with a nice air linen.
It smells like vanilla and strawberries.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's got
That's a nice smell.
It's got one of those things that where you take a paper towel roll and you stuff it with a sheet of linen, and then blow your
Okay.
weed smoke through it.
Well, these
Yeah,
are good
those don't
action
work very
yeah,
well.
no,
yeah.
but that's they perfected that technology. It's I can't remember what that's called, but
I used to use those in college.
Yeah, that's
but-
the new
Anyways,
Manscaped product.
go to Landscape and type in
Landscape. Go to landscape.com. They've changed their domain from Manscaped. It is now Landscape.
To be fair, my mother has to use landscaping material to, But I mean,
Yeah,
is it
Manscaped is more for the men. They've got Landscape now. The L stands for lesbian. So we now have the
They sell
Landscape.
things like
both
machetes.
heels and pits. What was
machetes, boots, leathers for riding
what was that-
motorcycles.
what was the
So
thing we
much
came up
flannel.
with?
Yeah,
so much flannel.
Lips and heels. Is that-
Everything is
arm
in
hair
flannel.
and heels.
Yeah, arm.
They got products for both arm hair and heels. They've got the ruby lipstick, the flannel, the butch haircut. They've got it all over there at Landscape. They're gonna sue us. They're gonna sue
lesbians? Lesbians as
No,
a
lesbian
Manscaped. They're gonna
manscaping.
sue us. They're gonna sue us so hard.
The entire lesbian community is going to sue us as a single
totalitarian
entity.
of the lesbian community.
Yeah, it's a class action lawsuit.
Man, we're gonna have a whole lot of Hell of a Boss fans over here.
They've got 2 class action lawsuits actually, one for the heels and one for the arm hair.
Okay, actual question. Who is more, Luna from Hell of a Boss?
Yeah, the Hellhound chick?
Yes.
The
The
one
one
in
that
all the
Patrick
porn?
put up some Rule 34 of
No,
Luna. There
God
you go.
damn it.
in all
now
of the
there's
porn.
our thumbnail. Manscaped.
She's in all of the porn, dude. It's like
It's true,
thumbnail
but we
for
shouldn't
this-
be
It's
using porn.
like type in Overwatch and tell
I
me which
understand she's
character
in
you
all the
see
The
on
porn.
the
thumbnail
front.
for this should be just the Manscaped logo with
And
some
Black
with Luna
Widow
under it.
or whatever her name is. Widow? Is
Huh?
it Black Widow or Widow?
Black
what?
Widow?
Black Widow? Is
From
that
what?
The
The
sniper
Avengers?
from Overwatch?
From Overwatch.
Oh, Tracer.
No.
The sniper.
No. It's just
Thought it was Tracer.
Widowmaker.
Widowmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the porn is all of Widowmaker, not
my
Tracer.
God, yeah,
Fuck
it
you.
I
is.
thought it was Tracer.
That's
all
how I know you
Widowmaker.
don't look at Overwatch
Yeah,
porn. Fuck you.
fucker. It's all Mercy and Widowmaker.
What about the thick Asian chick?
She's
May?
May. She's the only one that I actually look of
She doesn't
porn
have
up
that
from
much
Overwatch.
porn, actually.
She does. It's okay.
It's a few pages.
It's good. It's better than all the Widowmaker porn.
It was Widowmaker's more about quantity.
I get bored looking at people that look like Widowmaker. I can't
Yeah,
look at
it's
porn
generic,
that.
man.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
She looks like every other Playboy model ever.
Exactly. I want somebody who looks
she
like
looks
May.
like purple Sheba from Kim Possible. She
Okay, bro, you can put a
She-Gra.
filter over anything and change their
She
skin
looks
color.
like the purple girl from X-Men.
Yeah.
And I
Mystique?
don't know. Yeah,
Mystique.
she
She's
looks
blue,
like
but-
she's got Mystique's body shape, and I'm just like, that's just boring. I don't want a woman with big tits and like a fat ass if her
Shigo.
like midsection
That's
is
her name.
Shigo. Yeah, if her midsection is like that hourglass figure, or whatever, I would much rather have May, who's got like thick thighs, fucking like stocky giant titties.
Yeah, the Playboy setup has just become completely oversaturated. Like, I'll take anything
You want-
but,
Yeah,
basically.
I'll take Tracer over Playboy.
By the way, you want Playboy to set up that new game, Rival Heroes?
The Marvel one?
Yeah. Everyone there is caked up.
By the
Let me
way,
tell you.
speaking of Tracer, go to landscape.com and get the new Tracer-themed lesbian shaving cream. That's ever since they made Tracer come out as a lesbian, Landscape has pretty much taken over her image. They actually bought the rights from Blizzard.
Good.
Can I be honest? Do y'all think it's kind of retarded when people get mad that like porn gets made of a character having sex with people they're not canonically gonna have sex with? Like, this
Yeah.
character's gay. You don't have him have
Sometimes.
sex with men.
Sometimes, but I
Or
mean,
something,
is Tracer arm hair or heels?
Depends on how you draw her.
I think she's arm hair.
Nah.
I'm pretty sure. I've seen her
I
significant
said-
other, and I'm pretty sure her significant other is heels.
I
It
think
depends
you're
on how
right.
you draw her
But I
and
think
who you put her
Tracer's-
with.
Talking about the canon here, Eric. I'm talking about real life Tracer.
Okay, if I'm
the
thinking
one that
of
exists.
the canon Tracer, you're right. She has arm. or
Yeah,
she has
she's just like
pits. I
Brit-
feel like we should go with pits. Armpits is too much. Too much
Arm
to
hair?
say.
arm hair.
I think we should go with pits.
Pits.
Armpits.
Yeah.
But pretty women's armpits are generally unpleasant.
That's just every French woman. That doesn't
like
work.
armpits are
Okay.
never.
All right. I'll
Maybe
just,
your
I'll just-
weird fetish is like armpits, but like
I'm just
armpits are
throwing it out there.
generally.
You ever been into armpit stuff?
Not really.
I don't understand it as a concept.
Like I
see
guess
like,
I could understand like the central like licking it or feeling it. I can understand where that's sensual. What I don't the part of it
ticklish.
that I don't understand like rubbing your dick on it.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
understand
having them do
you.
like this, and then you come behind them and rub your dick
Like,
between their
I
armpit. Like
guess
that.
I get it.
Or the
Or,
front,
like,
I
when they're
guess.
just doing this.
Never put your dick in a pussy. I can understand the appeal of like an armpit or something. It's kind of like fucking thighs. I understand the concept. I understand the idea if you've never actually had vaginal sex.
But I don't like the execution.
I don't really
because it's always
care.
looks weird. They're always like the dick's massive and it's bending up into the
Or even like worse, it's like they're doing this.
yeah, they've got their arm
And
up
it's
and
like-
then they're just rubbing it up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
Patrick, put up some arm hair or some armpit fetish
Censor it.
porn.
none of it's anything that I'm into, but I feel like it's definitely on the far end of it, but like this is just rubbing a body part against someone else's
I love this podcast.
like,
we went from South Korea to Syria to
armpit
armpits.
fucking.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
armpit fucking. Yeah, hell
I mean,
yeah.
I'm fine with it. Like any part of your body that's like smooth and you can clamp down onto someone's
Well, I think
genitals,
my
people are
issue of
eventually
it
going to
is
do
it's like, look, it's not fun foreplay in my opinion.
No, it's like feet.
No, it's
Yeah,
it's
that's what
like
I'm getting at. It's
Well, if you're into feet, you might want to get jacked off with feet, I guess. If you're into armpits, you might want to squeeze one out in between her armpit. I mean,
yeah, but what I'm
it's
saying is I
fine.
don't get where someone brain finds it attractive because like to me it's just bad foreplay.
Have you ever seen the hentai?
Well, yeah, because you're not into it.
Well, no, I mean,
that's what I'm saying is how could their brains get into it?
I don't know, dude. Sexual fetishes are so spectrumy.
I'm of the opinion that in real life it's not as much of a thing as it is in hentai, because when you draw, you've seen those like artists that will draw an armpit and armpit porn, but the armpit looks like a pussy. Like it looks sexier than like a real armpit does. So I'm almost convinced it's almost entirely a 2D
part of the
Do you
fetish,
think armpits are too dry to do good armpit fetish stuff in real life?
Anything can be too dry to do
that's
fetish
not
stuff
what, no,
with.
that's not what I'm saying.
Armpits get sweaty already.
Yeah, they're like a moist area
I'm
naturally.
saying like for instance, anal, you have to use lube because your ass doesn't produce any lubricant.
Yeah. So you're saying like armpits, like, do they produce enough lubricant to actually?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
It can.
That's why in every single one of those things, the person they're fucking in the armpit is like a track star.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they've ran like 7 miles or something.
So yeah,
it's always like a little brown girl.
Honestly, as far as places people fuck.
Or like a blonde chick.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as like weird places you can slip your dick in on people. Honestly, an armpit kind of mechanically does make sense.
Holy shit, actually.
It's easy to clamp down on.
They did
it gets moist
on its own. I just realized they did it again. So like, do you okay, am I twigging out here, or was like back in the day every tomboy girl was redheaded, right?
Yeah.
Or like blonde.
I know what you're saying.
Of a trope,
oh, like maybe dirty blonde, but mostly redheaded. Now it's been taken over, and like they were always track stars, effectively, or like baseball players.
Yeah, now
that's been taken over by like black girls. Yeah,
yeah. Now
like they did the thing again.
Yeah,
where like it was redheads, and now they've replaced redheads with black girls.
It's because redheads got so stale because redheads became like the ginger joke. And then they were like, oh.
So, but now all the you're right. Like a lot of the tomboy girls I see in media are black girls, which, there's no problem with that so much. It's just something I've noticed.
Well, there is a problem with it, first off, and we'll get to that later when we talk about Stormfront in the next episode. But most of them are like brown Okinawan, like, they've got that like really dark
but it's like
skin.
a light brown.
Well, no, you're definitely getting these off of hentai websites.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not looking up. I mean, there's probably some Widowmaker armpit stuff out there. Patrick, go ahead and throw that up.
No,
but I'm pretty sure that that exists. It's not going to be as hot because there's no implication that Widowmaker does anything that gets her armpits sweaty.
Yep.
The part that fucks me up is when
battlefield constantly. Her armpits are sweaty 24/7.
No, dude, her ass cheeks would be sweaty.
It's true. She cannot sneak around with them ass cheeks.
And her tits. Her tits would probably be
every
soaking.
crease on that woman's body is fuckable.
Yeah. Okay.
Most of the time.
Belly button stuff.
Hey, you say you like May. Do you like that? Like the Russian chick?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Zendaya.
Yeah, Zendaya.
Yeah.
But she's like half black and with Tom Holland.
She's arm hair.
No,
she's like hard arm hair.
That's not the same. That's not the same character. You're talking about the
that's her
geometric
real fake name.
No, you're talking about you're talking about the Geo person. The Russian girl is like a butch white woman.
Yeah, she's a butch white woman with like a faux hawk and like a giant.
You're talking about the
gun.
autistic can like make geo shapes out of thin air. What lady? I don't remember her name though.
No, I'm talking about
Sabrina,
that light-skinned black chick that's dating Tom Holland right now, who played Mary Jane in the recent Spider-Man movies.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
Zendaya.
Oh.
Fucking
Zendaya.
Is that what you said? Zalbar?
Zanzibar land.
Zanzibar?
Where Gray Fox died.
Zanzibar
That's what he was talking about.
That's her name? Zanzibar?
Zendaya, I think is her name. I know who he's talking about. She's like up there with like Aquafina.
I remember Zendaya. You get him off of Coder when you rescue him from a blood feud with his dad.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right.
That's the one.
I think he has a life debt with Mission.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Fuck. The thing I don't understand is hair.
Yeah, okay.
People armpit stuff always like devolves into armpit with hair.
Yeah, it's not that person.
And I don't understand.
I don't remember what we were talking about to bring this up.
Zendaya, god damn it. One word.
He was talking about like the butch lesbian woman in Overwatch, and then what are you doing? Like the fucking mental math in your head, Patrick? Play the fucking like mind palace.
Yeah, I was
theme.
trying to remember the fucking thing for what do you get from when you cover up Wizard in Wizard of Oz?
What do you get when you cover up
Zardoz?
Zardoz. Yes. Yes.
Butch lesbian.
Zendaya.
Overwatch.
Zunda.
Something I can't get into that I've seen a lot more of recently is hair stuff.
Yeah.
Armpit hair is getting really big, and then like
It is. I think French stuff is getting big.
the full bush that
That's a
wraps
very
around
French thing.
into the asshole and then surrounds the
Ugh.
woman's asshole.
Yeah. We're back in the 80s.
Yeah, that's I don't understand that. I don't
Or
get.
maybe the 70s. I don't watch a lot of vintage porn, so...
I always assumed women didn't
typed
have
in-
hair around their asshole.
Do you watch
but
a lot of vintage porn?
Nah.
I don't either.
Yeah, women grow ass hair. It's just usually not as.
But I do
beefy
notice
as ours.
when I do
Yeah.
watch vintage porn, they're a lot hairier.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah, that was like a whole deal at the time. It's kind of like how Japanese porn is now. It was like desirable to be able to see a woman's pubes. That was like fucking. That was like, ooh, look at that.
Right.
Yeah, because that's where their downstairs area is, and
Well,
you
I
just
mean,
expect
at
people
the
to have
time,
pubes,
it
so
was fucking
tantalizing.
It was tantalizing to see a woman's ankles at the time. So seeing somebody's pubes was like, holy shit! You load a revolver and put one fucking bullet in there and put it to your head, pull the trigger.
Funny
Like,
note.
that's how exciting that shit is.
I typed in butch lesbian Overwatch, and I immediately got, is Zarya a butch lesbian?
Yeah, Zarya.
Yeah,
Zarya, not
Yeah.
Zendaya.
Yeah.
I don't
Zendaya.
fucking know. It's
Yep,
time, anyways. The
Zarya.
show's over.
All right, guys, go watch butch lesbian Overwatch porn.
Stop looking
I
at
think
our porn.
Zendaya was naked.
Stop looking at our porn. That's my porn.
Yeah,
Back off.
Yeah, back away from that porn. That's
yeah,
his.
you're not
that's
allowed
his.
to
Don't
watch
touch.
lesbians have sex with men. That's incredibly offensive.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
That's gross.
I'm just greedy.
That's disgusting.
Will actually hoards all of his porn.
If you draw Charlie from Has Been Hotel having sex with
why
a
I brought
man,
that vault
you are
inside the
now
ship.
an enemy
I know,
of
and I know what
society.
you've got in there. It's the same thing that the guy had in Donnie Darko.
He's got the chest river. Shows him where to go.
The fucking oh, that took me a second to me. I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Chest rivers
Yeah,
in
no,
Donnie
no.
Darko.
I do remember the chest river. I've never heard anybody refer to it as a chest river, but that's exactly what that was. It
I
was a
watched that
chest
shit
river.
in the era where you were downloading the Final Fantasy VII
Did you watch
movie.
Bullet Train?
No.
Did you bring back Halo?
No.
Damn,
this
you
has
got
been the-
one job. Bring Halo back.
This has been the Anything Cast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Eric, who doesn't bring shit back.
I'm Will.
Bye.
Bye.